Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Watch Party Wednesday. I am Michelle Meyer, coming to you live from sunny Tampa, Florida, where we are excited to welcome our incredible Freedom Boat Club owners and members from all over the world. For tonight's Freedom at the Helm special, we're excited to introduce Captain Vicki Norman, captain of our new member training in Dallas. Welcome, Vicki. We are so excited to have you. This is my first Watch Party Wednesday, so I have a feeling we're going to bring the fun tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor, and I love the Watch Party Wednesday, so it's super fun to be a part of it now.
Well, perfect. Well, let's just jump right into it. First question, a little bit of an icebreaker for you. As you know, we have our social clubs, and part of that is our playlist that we have on Spotify. So first question for you, what is your favorite song to jam out to on the water?
My favorite song? Well, it depends on what I'm doing. And with Freedom Boat Club, I have options to go fishing or surfing or wakeboarding or a tri-tune. So I think there's a different list. Like Texas, we listen to the country clubbing and the pontoon playlist because it seemed appropriate. But probably the most go-to is like the Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett kind of cruising.
There we go. Well, I am down in Florida, and I would have to say I'm a country girl myself. So that is usually what I opt for too when I'm out on the water.
We did enjoy the patriotic channel on 4th of July when we were out on the water in Dallas. That was great.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a day to remember for sure.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, kind of getting into some of your experience and what brought you to Freedom Boat Club. I know you spent a lot of time in the marine publications, a lot of sustainability initiatives. I know you're based in San Diego now, and the beautiful view behind you. But what brought you to Freedom Boat Club? And tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Well, being in marine publishing since the mid-90s, I kind of followed the growth of Freedom Boat Club from, just a handful of clubs in Florida to the 253 today that it's grown to. And when my husband's company was getting ready to relocate us to Dallas, I had reached out to David Aldridge, who was there at the time and in charge of the new franchises. And he was somebody I sat on the board with at the Southern California Marine Association. I said, David, how is there not a location in Dallas yet with all the growth? And how do I get involved? We're leaving California, where it's been my home my whole life, for a landlocked Dallas, and we need the water. And he said, actually, a new location opened up in Dallas this month, and I should introduce you to the owner, Sue Wallace. And Sue and I met. We started talking a couple weeks before we actually moved, and within 3 days of me being in Dallas, she and I got together and talked about me joining as a member. My husband and I were former boat owners and knew that we wanted to explore the different waterways in Texas and didn't have any idea what type of boat we would use the most often. Freedom was going to be a great solution for that. But after talking to Sue, she needed some help and support kind of growing the franchise and getting new members and working with training and all that stuff. So she and I began a relationship that is ongoing today, and it's been a lot of fun. So I was kind of involved with every aspect of it along with Sue.
That's amazing, and a perfect time with the move and the club opening as well. So
was.
And I know as a U.S. Coast Guard certified captain, you were in charge of the new member trainings. What kind of led you to inspire women at the helm and kind of taking advantage of feeling confident on the water? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. We used to call it Divas when it started a couple years ago, or when we started it in Dallas. So forgive me if I revert back to that, but it's been really, it's very rewarding. The training of new members is great, especially the women. A lot of times they're a little timid to take the helm. They let the husband do all the driving, and they'll often say, well, he's going to do the majority of it. And it's very rewarding to sort of challenge them, to help them get out of their comfort zone and do something that they didn't think they could do or never really wanted to, but then take it a step further and work with them until they're completely confident about it. And it was fun. There was oftentimes I'd see women that in training said, oh, I'm not going to do any of the driving. I'm going to let him do all the driving. And a week later, she'd be out there with her girlfriends going out for a day. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's what it's all about. And they became, they'd become friends too with Freedom. One of the benefits of membership is the ongoing training.
Right.
And so I would always encourage people at the end of training saying, we get new boats all the time and they're going to all have different handling characteristics and tendencies. So if you want training on a specific boat, and there'd be a few times a week probably that I'd go after work and just be on the dock, and women and men would come and just want to practice their docking skills for 15, 20 minutes. And, we always appreciated that versus them kind of winging it and
Right.
not being as safe as they should. So the training aspect of it's really rewarding, and it's a lot of fun.
That's great to hear. I recently became a member last year in Tampa at Freedom Boat Club and had the same experience. I grew up on the water, grew up in Florida, but never was confident on the water. And that's something that I have loved to go back to, is knowing that that training is there. Every boat, every marina is different. So feeling confident, it really is an empowering feeling. I'm sure from the teacher perspective, that's great to see in practice as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Freedom's really a tight-knit family. It's a group, and everybody's been in the same position at one time or another. So it's nice to see the members helping each other too. And
that's awesome. Well, I know we are coming off a banner year for Freedom Boat Club with 253 clubs and counting. And I recently learned that you are a PADI certified dive master. So curious to hear from you, what are some of your favorite Freedom destinations where you like to enjoy diving?
Well, that's a good question. Florida and California unarguably have some of the best diving in the country. It's great. And with Freedom's locations in Florida, you can go anywhere. And in California, having just opened Channel Islands, Ventura, that access to some of the best diving in California is out there at the Channel Islands, where I've done most of my diving. So I'm most comfortable and familiar there. We haven't dove off one of the boats in San Diego yet, although there's tremendous diving. Wreck Alley's just literally a 10-minute idle out of this harbor, and I've dove it, but not on one of the Freedom boats. One of the things I've talked to my husband about, I said, I'm totally comfortable diving and I'm totally comfortable on the boat, but knowing exactly which mooring buoys to use, what times of day, where the dive spots are, and the depth. We're looking at just getting a local dive master to go out with us. And that's what we did in Florida, actually, was we just contacted the local PADI dive shop and found a dive master that was willing to spend 4 hours going out with us and going diving and just showing us the ropes. So you save a lot of money not paying to go out on a boat, and you have the privilege of having your own boat, but you want to be extra cautious and make sure you're not dropping an anchor on a protected reef or something goofy.
Well, that's awesome, just to be able to kind of explore and feel comfortable and then share that knowledge with other members as well if they have that interest. So I have to ask, just from being in Florida, have you gone out of Islamorada yet?
Yes.
That is one of my favorite areas. So and great diving, I'm sure. So it's just beautiful over there.
In the magazine world, we did a lot of boat testing down there and races, and it was always a highlight.
Vicki, I know you got your start out as an actual member yourself in Freedom Boat Club. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Sure. It was, I had always owned a boat. My husband had too. We had both actually sold our boats right when we met 5 years ago. So we found ourselves boatless. And we came down, we were living in San Diego, and we came down to the San Diego location and decided we were going to join. The options available to us, being able to take our friends out on a tri-tune with a slide one day and then go, wakeboard the next day or go fishing and diving, it was just a no-brainer. We didn't end up joining, so we got relocated to Dallas, and joining at Dallas, it was the same thing. It was amazing. We could go from our home in Dallas, we could go to Austin or Houston or Galveston or any of the other locations, which has been phenomenal during COVID. When you didn't want to get on a plane or go someplace, it was a vacation on the water. My husband always says it's kind of like a country club on the water. We can just go anywhere and get the benefits.
That's amazing.
So I think there's a little news clip you guys have that you were going to show to that point.
Perfect. Yeah, we would love to see that country club on the water, and that's a great way to put it. And it's really just the options that are there. It's really incredible.
If you love to get out in the water, but not the hassle of boat ownership, this week's Lone Star Adventure is for you. It's like a country club on the lake with privileges at more than 160 lakes in North America. We're headed north to Louisville Lake, Pier 121 Marina, and the Freedom Boat Club. The Freedom Boat Club opened on Louisville Lake in March of 2018. Not the only boat club in North Texas, but the one with the largest reach.
We're the oldest and the largest. We've been around since 1989.
More than 160 locations in the U.S., 2 in Canada, and one that just opened in the south of France. Membership in this country club on the water entitles you to membership privileges at all of them.
You can do reservations for these boats here as you're a member of this club, or you can do a reciprocal request to any of our other 160 plus clubs.
A lot of new members are recovering boat owners like Vicki and Todd Norman.
We'll meet sometimes after work and go for a quick wakeboard run or a sunset cruise. Having the convenience of the boat gassed up, ready to go, they just hand us the keys and send us on our way. It makes boating so much more convenient.
Without having to trailer it, unload it, load it back up, clean it, it saves hours.
Because of the numerous locations nationwide, when we go back to California, we can use boats in Mission Bay and LA, all over the state. When we travel to Florida, we have access to boats.
Robin Holtz and her husband also sold their boats and use the club now instead.
You know, it was costing us a lot of money to have the slip, to have the boat, the insurance, the maintenance, and then we only used it maybe once every couple of months.
Tony Chapman bought a boat and used it 2 times in 4 years. The airline pilot, his wife, and his 2 children are on the lake a lot more this way.
A 9-year-old and 11-year-old who they call all the shots. I mean, they are always ready to go out on the boat, and we get the float inflated, and we drag them behind the boat for hours.
Debbie Carita is another one with kids who love the lake.
They love to come out on the water and go tubing. It's great family time. It's a great way for the family to spend quality time together on the water. All the fun of boat ownership, but none of the hassles.
That's amazing. Well, next question I have for you, across our Freedom Fleet, we have thousands of different types of boats. What would you say is your favorite boat to do new member training on?
In Dallas, we had one dedicated boat, and that's where we would do the majority of the training on. And it was the Bryant Calandra, which it's getting kind of phased out, and we're focusing more on the Sea Rays. So when possible, I always took one of the new Sea Rays, usually the 230s, because they were the ones that members were going to use the most. So I would always try to ask the members. There's some members that join and say, I'm only going to use the Access, surf boat. So we would split up the training and do some on the traditional IO and then some on, whatever boat they were going to use. The Access had an additional training, but if somebody said they were only going to use the Tri-Tune, then I would kind of train them on both. And then I would also encourage them when we got new boats or it was their first time on a new boat or first time going to a new location with a different boat to arrive early and ask questions, what's unique about that make and model, because every boat's got its unique tendencies.
That's awesome to be able to customize to what they're going to use most and feeling comfortable on the water. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I think across the board, we are all ready for our post-COVID world. And as we know that Freedom Boat Club is the largest social club on the water. So my question for you is, what member social are you looking forward to most once we get past this COVID world that we're in right now?
That's a great time of year to start kind of rolling out again. Spring, we sort of missed last year. I love the Freedom at the Helm events. That's always great fun to take the women out and watch them enhance their skills. And then we got really creative in Dallas with still maintaining some of the social events. So instead of doing a sunset cruise, we would do a regatta, kind of like a poker run style, where every family had their own boat and we would practice anchoring. We made it into a skill and find a cove and just kind of raft off, or not raft off. That's not allowed. But we would drop anchor and be social. The sunset cruises have always been a lot of fun. Wine club's great too. We would do those at different homes. So you really got to know the members and become friends. So really, there's so many options. There's something for everybody.
Yeah, and like you said, really create that community, family-like atmosphere, which is really nice. And I think that's something that everyone has enjoyed, especially with the growth that we saw this year, and excitement is just how incredible the boating world has been for getting people out of their homes, being able to stay safely social distance still. And it's great that you guys are able to be creative and still kind of interact with each other and work around that. But I know we're all ready to get back to the in-person and get-togethers that we're so used to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
So my last question for you, and this one might be the most important one. If you were to describe Freedom Boat Club in one word and what it means to you, what would that word be?
I can't say freedom. That's the perfect word for it, though. I would have to say opportunity. Opportunity for different activities on the water, because you have different boats to choose from and you have 253 locations to choose from. Opportunity to explore. It's
I love that. That's perfect. No, that's perfect. I think if that question was reversed, I probably would have said freedom as well. But I think opportunity is exactly that. The opportunity to explore, to feel confident, to feel comfortable, to create those memories. So I think that's a perfect answer. Well, Vicki, I can't thank you enough for joining our Freedom Watch Party Wednesday. I hope our members will tune in next week as we continue to cheers to freedom, fun, and family in 2021.